Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to put together a bunch of army lists and we're going to decide which one I'm going to take to an event. And so this idea in my head sort of spawned from, as many will know, if you've watched the channel, I've recently just ran my own GT, which I run, called the Cinderful Gaming Grand Tournament. That was the second year, and it was won by some Gargants. Now, seeing all the amazing hobby and seeing everyone at the event work towards and get their armies ready to get onto the table has really inspired me to want to take part in the next one day, and in doing so, make an army specifically for that tournament. I want to have a goal, an army that is set and ready to get going. And so this video, I'm going to put down a bunch of army lists that I've come up with, of models I have that I can paint up and get ready for a tournament. And I'm going to leave it up to all of you to decide which one of these lists I'm going to take to the event. So I'll be running this for a couple of days and then I'll start getting painting. You'll be able to follow this on the hobby hangouts and everything we do, and so it'll be a good bit of fun to hopefully get this ready. I'll have, I reckon, about a month and a bit to paint up this force. So it'll be something near Christmas will be the event, so really looking forward to seeing how this all goes and seeing whether I can get this done. I've at least got, I reckon, about a month to paint up this army. So without further ado, let's get cracking on. There's going to be 5 army lists for you all to choose from, and I'd love to see which one everyone picks in the end. And so here we have list number 1. I've wanted to get my Daughters of Cain done for quite some time, and I've got them sitting there, so I thought, well, why not put this as one of the lists? Now, I wanted to do something a little bit different. When I picked up my Daughters of Cain, I originally got them just before the first book came out, and then sort of moved away from them, went on to other things. I wasn't really into painting at that time, and Stormcast were really easy to paint and get an army ready for a tournament, so I sort of went with them, and my Daughters of Cain has just sort of sat on the back burner for quite a while now, but I really do want to get them painted up as an army. I don't have ready for the channel. We don't get it on the channel very much, because only one of my mates generally plays it, so yeah. But I wanted to use the models I picked up. So when I picked up a large lot of Dark Elves and Witch Elves just before the Daughters of Cain book dropped, I got a ton of Doomfire Warlocks. So I really want to include Doomfire Warlocks in the list. And I wanted to see if I can make them work. So for starters, I've got a Morathi there. She's unpainted. I want to get that model painted. So straight away, that's in the list. We definitely need a Hag Queen or 2, and so I've gone for 2 Hag Queens in the list, one on Cauldron of Blood. Now we're playing in Hagnar, obviously, but I do think this just gives me a lot of benefits for what I'm going to take in the army. We then got 30 Witch Elves and 2 units of 10 Witch Elves. I think one of the units, probably my large one, will actually have the bucklers and not the sacrificial knives, but we'll see how that all goes together. And then I've gone for 10 Doomfire Warlocks. Now the Doomfire Warlocks I think are interesting. First of all, we've got Mind Razor on Morathi, which can actually turn them into like having 4 attacks each. And they'll be at rend. So, you know, if they're going to have 4 attacks each, they will be at rend 2, damage 2. It'll be, and then rend 1, damage 1. It's a really cool, like, lot of attacks coming out of the Doomfire Warlocks. You combine this as well with a Heart of Fury Invocation that can actually halve the damage. That Doomfire Warlock unit, if that's near the Cauldron, can actually stick around pretty well. It can be on a 4-up save, 5-up re-rolling, with 20 wounds in that unit. It's not bad. So I reckon this will be an interesting sort of Daughters of Cain, something a little bit different than all the bow snakes you're seeing around. But I really like to give this army a try. It's got like its 3 main sort of power pieces, which is of course the Shadow Queen, the 30 Witch Elves, and the 10 Doomfire Warlocks. So yeah, this is my plan for a Daughters of Cain list, if this is what people would like to see. List number 2 is something a little bit funny. Now, I was talking to a mate over the weekend about how you could do the sort of double-handed dust list. Obviously, Nagash can do it, and Vokmordian's got a shorter ranged one, which you could use through an Umbral Spell Portal because you can be much more aggressive with Nagash. And so, I wanted to give that list a try. So, we're going for Ossiarch Bone Reapers, much like, I guess, Morathi. I've got a Nagash sitting there. He's actually unbuilt, but he's there. I've got Thokmordian, some more Tech Guard, 3 units of them, 6 Necropolis Stalkers, and the Umbral Spell Portal all wrapped up in a battle regiment for a 1-drop Ossiarch Bone Reapers list. This is just a list I'm interested to run. Like, I think it'd be fun trying to do like double-handed dusts everywhere and all that sort of stuff. So, be interesting to sort of see how this can work and if indeed like this is actually usable at all in any form. Definitely a little fun list. Probably not the most competitive one in this, but definitely a fun list nonetheless. List number 3, Stormcast Eternals. I mean, everyone knows I've got a ton of Stormcast, so where would we be without a Stormcast Eternal list? The one I'm interested in is trying out a Dracothian Guard heavy list. So we're going to be playing in Hammers of Sigmar. Hold the Line is going to be our grand strategy because we've got some really decent battle line in this army, and we're going to go for Inspired with our Triumph, trying to get that +1 wound. Now we've got the Celestin Prime in this list, and we've got a Lord Relictor who's going to be our general. He's going to have the High Priest command trait, Artifact, Amulet of Destiny, and the Prayer Translocation. Then we've got for Battleline 4 Dracothian Guard Concussors, 4 Dracothian Guard Fulminators, and 5 Liberators. That's a decent amount of hitting power. The Concussors, I feel taking 1 unit of Fulminators and 1 unit of Concussors is really useful. This gives us some mortal wound output in one of the Dracothian Guard units. And then we've also got 6 of Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows. They're there. They're going to get translocated around the place with our Lord Relictor. And then everything's wrapped up in a single battle regiment. And we've also got the Holy Command Thunderbolt Volley, which is really cool, meaning we're going to get 1 turn of double shooting out of those Vanguard Raptors, which can be just incredibly powerful. We've got 3 out of our 4 units in reinforced, no allies, 84 wounds, and we are 1-drop in this list. So this is a little interesting list. I mean, I'm really interested to play around with like Stormcast Eternals, and this is one of the few builds that I'm interested in. So we'll see how this one goes, maybe. And next we have a different Stormcast list. So these are perhaps some of my favourite models for Stormcast that I really want to give a shot and try on the table. I think this list maybe isn't quite as competitive, but it could be interesting in how it plays against some lists. It's got a ton of manoeuvrability, and it does have one really good unit in the Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows reinforced, keeping our Holy Command as Thunderbolt Volley. We've got an extra artifact in the army, so we've got Astral Templars, so everything here is immune to Monstrous Rampage, which is cool. Lord Aquila, Skilled Leader, Arcane Tome, Celestial Instincts, and Thundershock. And then we've got a Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger as well, with Scintillating Trail and Spell Starfall. The 2 spells here, ignoring Pile-ins and ignoring or making -1 to wound, are really, really useful. Can come in handy when attacking with small but sort of deadly units. Vanguard Paladors are decent. They can put out a decent amount of damage. And I've got 2 Venators, a Zephyros in there, and some other characters. It's going to be sort of an army list. I don't know whether it'll work. It might not. It might work against some armies, but I really do think like it'll struggle against something like Gargants or something like that. But it's going to aim to sort of take apart one piece of the opponent's army at once, as everything's able to sort of teleport around the table and do all manner of weird and wacky things. It'll be interesting to see how the Vanguard Chamber can work on the table, and, you know, I'd love to paint up this army. I absolutely love the Vanguard Palador models. And list number 5, I call this I have an amalgamation of different Luminesce units, and I try to make an army out of them. So what I've got here is I've got a CR army of Luminesce Realm Lords. I've gone for something. I really don't like running the giant blocks of Sentinels and Wardens and all that, so I've gone for something a little bit more interesting, utilising more of the book. I really don't think there are that many bad units inside the book, so I don't actually think this list is bad in any way. It's just definitely not the optimal build for the army. So we've gone for CR. I just like having the extra Aether Quartz to do extra things with. Obviously High-ish Prize Sorcery, because we've got a ton of Wizards inspired for our Triumph. That's unlikely we'll get it. We're only 10 points under. So we've got a Venari Lord Regent as a general command trait, Goading Arrogance and the Perfect Blade, and he's got Protection of High-ish as his spell, as he will generally be in this sort of centralised part of our army. We then got the Light of Eltharion, who I think has definitely gone up in stock with the new edition. And we've got a Scenario Lore Seeker in there with Ethereal Blessing, because he'll be sort of off on his own, so that'll be really helpful for him. And then we've got a Scenario Catalar in there with the Arcane Tome for an extra cast and the spell Total Eclipse. Lastly, we have in our battle line 3 units of 10 Venari Aurelin Wardens, all with Speed of High-ish. We've got a unit of Sentinels with Lambent Light, a unit of Wind Chargers, and a unit of Dawn Riders with Flaming Weapon. We've then got a Hurricane Spirit of the Wind as well, and a Star Shard Ballista, rounding out our force. Then we've got a command entourage for an extra artifact, Hunters in the Heartlands, all Alvanari, Oral and Wardens are in that battalion, and then everything else is wrapped up inside a battle regiment. 7 drops isn't great, 99 wounds is pretty decent for a Luminesce army in all honesty. This is literally just an amalgamation of all the different Luminesce units I have around the place, so be interesting to see if I can make a sort of a list work out of what I have. But that is the 5 lists I've got for you. I'd love to hear what everyone wants us to play in the next event going forward, so let us know in the comments and we will get painting in the next couple of days. So you have a couple of days to leave us those comments and let us know what you'd like us to play. And even if you see this in a couple of days after and we've already started on this army, maybe we'll put that forward in the next view, because we do have monthlies at my local game store, Dragon's Lair Salisbury, so maybe I'll take one of them to there, and who knows, we should have some GTs coming up soon, which I'll need some armies to play with at them. So we'll let the community decide what we're going to take on those events. If you're enjoying, letting us letting you dictate what we're going to do at events and what list we're going to take, let us know if you'd like to see more of this and for more events and for different games, because we've definitely got some other things we can do with this as well. Love to hear from you all, and let us know what list you'd like to see down below in the comments. And so that's the end of the video. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the video's description to our Discord server. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so by either Patreon or YouTube members, or going and purchasing some merch from Teespring, on which you'll find all the links for Patreon, YouTube members and Teespring in the description of the video as well. Lastly, we'd like to give a shout out to all our patrons and YouTube members who help support the channel. It's amazing what you do, and it really helps us get more and more stuff out for the channel. So thank you to our patrons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Dynet226, Anton Nielsen, JJ Austrian, and Average Wargamer. And a special shout out to our YouTube members as well: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Steve T, The Real Zeop, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, and Revan R. Lastly, a special shout out first of all to Lady Witchfox Art for doing all the amazing artwork for the channel you can see here, and to Xmorphic as well for doing an amazing job doing all the background work on our Discord server. Thank you to everyone once again for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, comment below. Thank you all. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.